Hi, I'm Mr. Tapley here to walk you through the Semester 2 Dev Biomes as part of Geography Study in Term 4. In this video, I'll be outlining the instructions, the requirements for this assessment task. I'll be showing you a student sample from last year or the year before, just to give you an idea of what you should be aiming to achieve in this assessment. And I'll be working through a few support resources, some tips and tricks that you'll be able to use when creating your biomes dev. So our learning intention for this video or lesson is to demonstrate our understanding of biomes and the interconnection between geographical factors influencing the environment. So how does our environment create or shape these biomes? Success criteria is to carefully read the assessment instructions, please. Ask questions, pretty please, and complete the Sem2 Dev Biomes. Not one lesson. You're going to get about 2 or 3 lessons to complete this, depending on how nice your teacher is or how nice they're feeling that day. So it should be hopefully 3 lessons to complete this. And for reference, both the instructions, whoop, lost my head. Both the instructions that I'm reading through and the student template that we're providing for you to scaffold to structure your response. Both of those files are available in the assessment task, which has both been uploaded to Google Classroom, so Semester 2 Dev Biomes there, and also in Compass. If you go into Compass and you look at results, you'll see that you're being graded out of 10. It's a pretty straightforward, pretty simple dev task, similar to what we did with the Civics and Citizenship unit, where we had the first couple of weeks of the unit looking at civics and you had your Australian politics test. This is basically that. So you're going to have your biomes dev, pretty straightforward, simple, out of 10, give you a grade, give you a comment. And then food security is our next major topic, and that's what the focus of our CAT will be. And you'll also have a little draft activity there to prepare you, just like you had with your letter and your letter template. So that's all available on Compass and Google Classroom, but let's go through those instructions. So this assessment task requires you to create a Google Slides presentation, which you're probably pretty familiar with reading and creating and viewing at this point. A template has been provided in Google Classroom. The presentation slides will need to address the following topics. So if I go back to my template, you'll see that these key topics that I'll be going through in a moment, it's basically one slide per topic. So you have one slide where you give me a definition or a summary of what that particular biome is. One slide where you give me some evidence that you know what that biome is. One slide, oops, I've got 2 there. One slide where you talk about challenges or threats to that biome, whether that's pollution, deforestation, etc. And then one slide at the end where you tell me what sort of wonderful resources you used to create that presentation. So, as I mentioned, after selecting one of the biomes that we've looked at, one of the big 5, so forest, tundra, nice and cold, desert, not desert, aquatic or grassland, you're then going to start your presentation off, your assessment, by saying, well, this is my biome. So defining it, outlining the key features. Is it hot? Is it cold? What's the rainfall like in the climate? Global distribution. So where can I find this type of biome? Next slide, you'll talk about the evidence of that biome. So you might talk about subbiomes. So you might talk about, if I'm looking at forests, I could say, well, there are many types of forests. I could talk about tropical rainforests. I could talk about boreal forests, nice and cold forests. I could look at specific examples or evidence of types of wildlife and plants that live in those biomes. I could talk about statistics, so how many kilometers do these biomes cover of the world's surface. I could provide a few maps of those biomes. Your textbook is a good resource for that. Finally, you'll finish with challenges. So you're going to specifically focus in on challenges to your biome. I don't want to hear about deforestation if your biome is aquatic. We're not chopping down trees in the ocean. So make sure it's specifically targeted to your biome. So you could look at deforestation, pollution. So if you're looking at pollution for aquatic biome, you're not going to talk about land pollution. You're going to talk about pollution in the water, basically. And climate change is a specific thing that will impact almost all of those biomes, but talk about, again, your specific biome, the focus there. And then we don't need a formal Harvard-style bibliography, but I would like you to list the websites, videos, news articles that you've used in your research. If you used a textbook, put that up there. Basically, how I'm breaking down your 10 marks is 3, 3, 3, 1. So I'll make that clearer in the actual learning task. But you're getting 3 marks for your first side, so your definition, your summary. 3 for the evidence that you're providing, so the depth and the detail, and whether it is specific targeted research on your biome. 3 marks for your challenges, your threats. So can you define what deforestation is and then link it to where it's happening around the world, how it's going to impact your biome in negative fashion. Then 1 mark for including a couple of resources that you've used to create this presentation. Now, as I mentioned at the start of the video, there will be about 2 or 3 lessons of class time provided to complete dev. We're aiming to complete this by the end of week 2. It's going very quickly this term. So the 15th of October, Friday. In addition to the template, several support resources have been provided. Those links below down there. We've got the Our Planet, David Attenborough Netflix series. So they've very kindly uploaded almost all of the episodes on specific biomes. So there's an Our Planet Forests, Our Planet Aquatic. So you can watch a nice little relaxing documentary that'll help you complete your presentation. This one is a National Geographic article that we read at the start of the unit, which you guys might have forgotten, but it's a good resource for a starting point, I suppose, for your research. That is, I believe, another news article, and then that is another YouTube playlist where it's not a documentary style length feature, but it's about 10 or 20 minutes, I think, or 5 or 10 minutes going over the different types of biomes. I've also included, as I mentioned, a student sample. And of course, if you have any questions or concerns, please let me know. But this is roughly what you're going to look at by the end of this. So I've got one slide here going over, what is a forest? He's talked about the sub-biomes that you could find, so types of forests: tropical, temperate, hot, not so hot, evidence or examples. So he's talked about where these forests are being found. Deforestation, so that's a challenge specific to forests. He's included 2 challenges there, God bless him. He forgot a resource list, I remember this student. So make sure to include your reference list. And yeah, that's all I've got for a little video today, guys. Nice and short and sweet. Hope you guys are coping with remote learning well. Again, you should have 2 or 3 lessons to work on this, and I'll make that clear in the campus lesson plan. And yeah, best of luck. Cheers.